The Voyager 1 is known for being the first spacecraft to go beyond our solar system.
NASA says its Voyager 1 probe, the most distant human-made object in the universe, is sending usable information to Earth again.
40 years after its launch, Voyager 1 has sent back something that's leaving scientists nervous. Imagine a spacecraft built decades ago, surviving the lonely darkness of space, far beyond where anyone thought it would go. Now, after drifting in the unknown for so long, it's sent back a message, one that no one expected. Could this signal be from a part of space we know nothing about? Let us dive into the deep space and uncover the hidden truths that will change the world forever. Voyager's leap into the unknown. Back in the day, NASA had a pretty straightforward plan. Send these twin probes, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, to check out the planets at the edge of our solar system. Thanks to a rare lineup of planets, they could get a gravity boost from one planet to the next like some kind of cosmic pinball machine, zooming past Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. One of the probes started its path in September of 1977, racing ahead of its twin, and by 1979, it had already taken some jaw-dropping snapshots of Jupiter and its moons. Then it was on to Saturn in 1980. The pictures and data it sent back totally changed what we thought we knew about these gas giants and their strange moons. Before we delve into this, one thing is certain. The message Voyager 1 sent back is far stranger than anyone could have imagined. And this won't be the last shock it has in store for us. But after all those planetary flybys, things got even more interesting. By 1990, the probe had wrapped up its original mission and just kept cruising straight out of the solar system. It ventured into what we call the heliosphere, basically a giant bubble of space dominated by the sun's influence. The edge of this bubble, called the heliopause, is where our sun's magnetic field and solar wind finally give way to interstellar space. In August 2012, it crossed that line, making it the first human-made object to enter interstellar space. It was like humanity finally poked its head out of our little corner of the galaxy and saw the larger universe for the first time. Of course, with all this distance, we're talking about the probe being almost 14 billion miles away from Earth now. Staying in touch isn't exactly easy. Radio signals take over 21 hours just to get here, and with each passing day, the spacecraft gets a little bit further away, and its power supply gets a little bit weaker. Still, it kept sending back useful data, mostly about cosmic rays and particle densities. Until recently, when things took a strange turn. In 2022, scientists received a signal from the probe that wasn't like the usual stuff it sent back. This one was distorted, irregular, and gave everyone at NASA a bit of a chill. It was almost as if the little spacecraft was sending out a distress signal from the depths of space. Now, at first, everyone thought, it's over 40 years old. This thing's bound to have some glitches. After all, the spacecraft was never meant to last this long. The radioactive power source that's kept it running, basically a nuclear battery, is running on fumes at this point. But when the engineers dug into the problem, it turned out this wasn't just some random technical hiccup. The signal was coming from the Attitude Articulation and Control System, or AACS for short. It's the part of the probe that makes sure the spacecraft is pointed correctly, especially its antenna towards Earth. If that antenna isn't aimed right, we're never hearing from it again. The AACS seemed to be sending back garbled nonsense, even though the rest of the spacecraft was acting like everything was fine. This wasn't just confusing, it was a little eerie. It's like getting a letter from someone saying they're lost, but everything around them is just as it should be. Scientists considered a lot of possibilities, one being that the AACS had finally started to break down after all these years, maybe due to cosmic radiation. The probe has been out there in interstellar space, soaking up cosmic rays for over a decade now. This radiation can mess with electronics in all sorts of unpredictable ways. Some experts even wondered if it had wandered into some weird, previously uncharted region of space. A spot where the environment is so strange that it's literally scrambling the spacecraft's systems. As Voyager moved farther, it seemed like there was even more out there, waiting in the deep, silent parts of space. A warning from deep space. That idea that the probe might be drifting through a region unlike anything we've seen is actually pretty plausible. Interstellar space isn't just empty nothingness. It's full of cosmic rays, dust, and magnetic fields, all of which we're only beginning to understand. Imagine the spacecraft suddenly getting bombarded by particles at a higher density than before, or drifting into a zone with a super intense magnetic field. It's not like it was built with a survival manual for every possible scenario in the universe. It's just a tiny metal box with some sensors and a nuclear battery trying to make its way through an unimaginably hostile environment. If the probe is indeed encountering something new out there, it could mean that our understanding of interstellar space is seriously lacking. This is the first object we've sent that far out, so there's really no way of knowing what to expect. Maybe there's more out there than just empty darkness. Maybe there are energy fields or cosmic rays or something even stranger. Whatever it is, scientists are trying to figure out if this weird signal is just a one-time blip, or if the probe is going to keep sending back these unsettling messages as it moves deeper into the unknown. And here's the thing, keeping in touch with the probe is becoming a real challenge. The signal it sends back is weak, and it's only getting weaker. NASA uses these massive, super-sensitive radio dishes to catch the faint whispers it sends our way. Every year that goes by, it gets farther away, and the energy it needs to send a signal drops. NASA's already had to shut down most of the non-essential systems on board just to save power. They expect that by the mid-2020s, the spacecraft's power supply will be so low that even the main instruments will have to go dark. But for now, it is still out there, and this creepy signal, whatever it is part of its ongoing story. When news of the strange transmission broke, people couldn't help but wonder if the probe had stumbled onto something incredible, or maybe something terrifying. Was this some kind of cosmic SOS? Could it be a signal affected by something out there we can't even imagine yet? Maybe it has seen something in the darkness that no one could have predicted. Of course, the rational explanation is that this is just some malfunction in a decades-old system that was never supposed to last this long. But that hasn't stopped the speculation. There's always been something kind of romantic about the probe's path. This tiny little machine, built by humans, venturing out into the great unknown alone. It's like a message in a bottle, drifting further away from its home planet, carrying a golden record full of music, greetings, and sounds of Earth. A time capsule meant for whoever, or whatever, might find it. And now, as it drifts through interstellar space, it sends back a signal that no one can quite make sense of. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The fact that its path is ending not with a clear resolution, but with a strange, maybe even desperate cry from the darkness. It reminds us that for all our achievements, for all our scientific discoveries, there is still so much we don't understand about the universe. Maybe the probe is telling us that space isn't quite as empty as we thought, or maybe it's just reminding us how far from home it truly is. A tiny, fragile object adrift in an endless sea. Voyager 1 is a symbol of our ambition, our hunger to explore, and our need to understand what's out there. Even now, as its systems slowly fade, it's still out there pushing the boundaries. The strange message it sent back is a reminder of just how much remains unknown. It's easy to forget that this little spacecraft, launched when disco was still a thing, is now further from Earth than anything else we've ever made. It's seen things no human eye ever will, and it's taken us beyond the borders of our solar system. Eventually, the spacecraft will go completely silent. Its power will run out, and it'll stop sending signals home. It'll keep drifting, though, a lonely artifact of human curiosity, forever carrying that golden record. Maybe someday something or someone will find it. Or maybe it'll just keep floating, unseen in the cold expanse of space. A silent monument to the fact that we dared to explore, even if we didn't fully understand what we were getting ourselves into. The signal from Voyager felt like more than a glitch. It was as if it had come across forces we still don't fully understand. The signal that stunned NASA. The truth is, as much as we like to think we know what's out there, it is proving we really don't. It's still sending us signals, and we're still trying to figure out what they mean. That recent transmission was different, something unsettling, something no one was quite expecting. And while we can't help but come up with theories, some realistic, some more like the plot of a sci-fi movie, the fact remains that interstellar space is still largely a problem to us. The probe is out there, alone, trying to tell us something, and we're here on Earth, straining to hear it. That's part of what makes this so eerie. It's not like there are answers just sitting out there waiting for us to collect. Instead, there's an entire universe full of questions, and the odd transmission is just one of many. If we're honest with ourselves, the truth is we still don't have the tools to fully understand what's out there. We're trying, though. This tiny ancient spacecraft, launched from a world without smartphones, is sending us cryptic messages from the depths of space, and we're doing everything we can to interpret them before the line goes dead. Imagine it, drifting further and further into the unknown, away from everything familiar, away from the sun that gave it life, into a darkness it was never designed to handle. Out there in the cold emptiness, it's coming across something we can't see, and it's doing its best to tell us what's happening. It's a symbol of human tenacity, the spirit of exploration, but also a reminder of our limitations. We built it, we sent it, and now it's going where we can't follow. At least not yet. Over 40 years of travel, 14 billion miles from home, and still going. The AACS glitch, or whatever it is a stark reminder that our technology is far from perfect. Even if this ends up being nothing more than a technical fault, the problem of it captures our imagination. What if there's something out there that just doesn't mesh with what Voyager's old systems know? What if space is a lot stranger than we thought? The signal isn't just data, it's a symbol, a representation of the challenges of stepping into the unknown, a testament to the fact that sometimes we don't have all the answers. In the end, what keeps us fascinated by Voyager 1 isn't just the technology or the science, it's the unknown. The spacecraft is out there, past the planets, past the boundary of our sun's influence, in a place where no human-made object has ever been. It's on a one-way path into the great beyond, carrying a record of who we are and where we come from. And now it's sending back messages that, for all our advanced technology, we can't quite understand. There's something haunting about that, a reminder that for all we know, we are still explorers in the truest sense. The story of Voyager 1 isn't just about data or cosmic rays or pictures of Saturn's rings. It's about human curiosity, the drive to see what's beyond the next hill, to ask questions even when we might not be ready for the answers. Voyager is a product of that curiosity, launched into space with the hope of learning something about our universe and maybe about ourselves. Now it's far beyond what we can see with even the best telescopes, sending back whispers from the edge of the abyss and leaving us to wonder what else might be out there. Even as we get closer to the time when Voyager 1 will go silent forever, its mission isn't over. The data it's sent, the discoveries it's made, will continue to teach us for years to come. And that strange signal, whether it's a sign of something new or just a technical hiccup, is a reminder that our path is far from complete. There are more things waiting out there, more boundaries to push, and more signals we might one day receive. Maybe from Voyager, maybe from something else. The point is, we're still looking, still listening, and still trying to understand. Voyager's path may be close to its end, but what it's found out there keeps us wondering and wanting to learn even more. Lessons from a brave machine. What Voyager 1 did is lay the foundation for the future. It taught us that it's possible to reach out beyond our solar system, that we can send our technology into places we've only dreamed about. The next generation of explorers, whether they are robots, probes, or even crewed missions, will build on the path Voyager carved out. We're going to keep pushing outward, beyond our sun, beyond our galaxy, into whatever lies beyond. And maybe one day, we'll get the answers that Voyager 1 hinted at, the ones it tried to tell us about with that strange, distorted signal. Picture the Voyager spacecraft, billions of miles away, a tiny speck in the vastness of the universe. It's still going, and even though it's losing power, even though its systems are failing one by one, it's still fighting to keep in touch. It's like a lighthouse out there in the dark, and even if its light fades, it won't be forgotten. What it's done, where it's been, and what it's shown us about our own universe will be remembered. The path it's on is a reflection of our own. We're all trying to find our place, to understand what's out there, and maybe, just maybe, to leave something behind that matters. The signal from Voyager 1, whether it was just a glitch or an actual message, reminds us there's so much we haven't yet found out. This shows that even when we think we know everything, the universe still has surprises for us. It tells us how little we are, and that we're only just starting to learn about the vastness around us. And perhaps that's the exciting part. The idea that for every answer we uncover, there's always another question hiding just out of sight. Voyager 1 will continue on, floating among the stars long after it has stopped communicating with us. It will remain on its quiet vigil, a small metal representative of Earth, a piece from the time when humans first bravely left the safety of their solar system. And in its quiet, there's a certain beauty, a reminder that we were here, that we chose to seek out new places, and that even without knowing everything, we never stopped asking questions. The tale of Voyager 1 is really our own tale. It speaks of our curiosity, our need to explore, and our urge to know more. It reminds us that there are still new areas to explore, new challenges to meet, and new signals to await. Voyager might eventually fall silent, but our path, the human adventure, has only just started. This is what makes our quest so vital. We continue to push the limits, driven by our boundless curiosity and the endless possibilities that space offers. Each signal, each discovery leads us to more questions, pulling us deeper into the unknown. As Voyager drifts further away, it leaves behind a legacy that encourages us to look forward, to wonder, and to dream. So as we think about the path Voyager has traveled, let's not see it as a path coming to an end, but as the spark of greater adventures that lie ahead. What will we find next in the cold, dark reaches of space? What new questions will arise? And how will the answers change our view of the universe? These are the questions that keep us looking up at the stars, hopeful and eager for the future. Our path with Voyager may be just a tiny part of a much bigger story, but it's a powerful reminder of our desire to know the unknown. As we continue to explore, let's keep the spirit of Voyager alive, constantly searching, always learning, and never satisfied with the answers we have. After all, isn't the thrill of the chase what exploration is all about? In this grand adventure, every little discovery is a victory. Every unanswered call makes us think and pushes us to try harder. As long as we keep this curiosity alive, our path will never end. Isn't that the true beauty of exploration? The idea that there's always more to know, more to see, and more to understand? Is Voyager 1's strange message just a random glitch? Or could it be something much bigger, maybe even a warning from deep space? Could there be things out there that humanity isn't ready to face? Tell us what you think about this cosmic problem, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.